Cloud, okay. I'm gonna turn it, so, hold on for 1 second. So Sam, you have, wait, hold on. Just hold on, everyone, just technical stuff. I'm gonna stop. So welcome, everyone. My name is Helena Nat. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. Very excited about this webinar. We had a lot of interest in this. We've been doing a Clubhouse Mondays at 2 o'clock. We've been discussing social media. We do our Tuesdays online networking and Thursday 4 o'clock networking. And again, those are hot topics that people are always interested in learning more about. So we have Samantha Williams. She is the CEO of 628 Digital Designs, and she is going to be making a fantastic presentation on how to generate money for social media. I know a lot of people have, social media takes a lot of time. Between Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Google. And a lot of people have said to me, Helena, I'm spending so much time on it. It's creating awareness, but it's not generating enough money to substantiate how much time I devote. So Samantha, I'm going to call her Samantha, is the expert on this. So right now I'm going to turn it over to you, Sam. And
Awesome.
Just so you know, this is a webinar. If you have any questions, put it in the chat and I will be asking Samantha at the end of her presentation. So definitely put your information and questions in the chat and we will address the questions at the end after, because some of the questions might be answered during the presentation. So go ahead and take it away. Thank you for hosting that.
Thank you, Helena, for having me. It is my pleasure to be here and to share some gems. We're going to talk about Clubhouse in this also, but that's what we do on social media. We're here, you position yourself as industry experts and learn how to monetize your social media for your business. As Helena was saying, you do spend time, effort, and if you're paying a social media manager money on social media, and you got to know how to recoup that and make the most out of your time on social media.
Hold on for 1 second. Samantha, can you record this?
Oh, yes.
Or give it back to me to record, because I'm sure we want this on Chamber TV.
I think it's recording. It says pause recording or stop recording.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. We can also go live if you want, Helena.
We're good.
Okay, awesome. So this is my bio slide. I am the president and CEO of 628 Digital Design. 628 Digital Design is a digital content design agency. We specialize in blog, email marketing, newsletter writing and development, social media management, full service website. Our websites come with the words. That's right. We don't just do design. We also do marketing materials, graphic design, and copywriting. So on the list on the left here are some of the services we provide as a professional development. When I'm out doing workshops like this, see, I just added monetizing social media to that list. And on the right are the actual content that we provide to our clients. Below is my contact information and all of my social media also. So this is our agenda. We're going to talk about authentic content creation, collecting a Clubhouse check, and then linking up with Linktree. So I hope you're ready. Grab your notepad. There's going to be a lot of good little things in here, tidbits for you to understand. So I do this presentation pretty frequently, but every time I do, I go and check the most recent social media facts. What are those stats telling us about social media? And guess what? Well, there was a huge increase in the number of global social media users from 2020 to 2021. In 2020, when I was doing this presentation, it was 3.5 billion global social media users. We're now up to almost 4.5. That's almost a full billion more social media users globally. These two stats haven't changed. So 90% of users of social media are communicating with businesses and brands via social media. So this is why you need to have a social media presence for your business. You don't have to be on all of the platforms, but you want to be where the money resides. That's why we're here today, right? So where your ideal client or customer is going to be is where you need to be sending your content for social media. And we know that content is queen, but visual content is better. Visual content are graphics, imagery that you see on Instagram, on YouTube, because that visual content is more than 40 times more likely to get shared. Content being shared on social media is part of your interactions. It's part of your reach rate. When you're looking at your social media performance to see how your content is performing, when people share your content, that's included in that. So you want people to save your content and you want people to share your content. So we're going to talk about authentic content creation, because social media is all about communication. That's what it's for. But this is where a lot of businesses fail. They don't really get social with it. A lot of people think that they should post and walk away. So you need to be posting at least 3 to 4 times a week. Minimally 3 times a week, you need to be posting. That's not the same day. Those are 3 separate days. And you can do some A/B testing, right? Try posting different days at different times and seeing what's working best for you. You want to follow your followers. I like to tell people, you ain't Beyonce. Beyonce don't got to follow nobody. And she gets millions of likes and comments. But for the regular business owner, we have to follow other people. People will connect to the person behind the brand, especially if you have a bigger brand. People get excited when they say, oh my God, the Greater New York Chamber is following me, right? Follow other people. Let them know that this is an active social media account. There's someone actively managing it and they want to engage with you. Also, make sure you're reviewing your DMs. I say all the time, there's money waiting for you in your DMs. It goes down in the DMs, right? Because people will contact you. They send you a message. Hey, this week alone, I've gotten maybe 5 to 6 DMs with people who want to chat with me about providing services. But if DM is not your preferred method of communication, mine is not, then what you want to do is refer them to your email, right? So you move the conversation from DM to email. You can send them your email address or they can send you their email address. And that way you continue the conversation off of the platform. We're going to talk about Clubhouse later, but to be social on Clubhouse means you need to moderate and speak in Clubhouse rooms. If you're not speaking in Clubhouse rooms, you're not getting a check from Clubhouse, and we'll talk about that. Next is including a call to action in your post. A call to action is the exact behavior you want a person to take when they see your post. So now you posted something, what do you want them to do? Are you directing them to your website? Are you directing them to your store? Do you want them to email you? A call to action is click here, subscribe now, link in bio. We'll talk about the link in bio. Those are call to actions. You want them to act and do something. We're going to talk about engagement later too, but liking, commenting, and sharing on social media is vital. You cannot just post and walk away. You have to like, you have to comment, you need to respond. You have to, especially if someone's commenting on your post, you need to respond to them. And we'll talk about that. Another thing is your bio, including your contact information. All of you are business owners. So the first step is setting up, making sure your account is set up as a business profile and not a personal profile. Too many businesses are set up as a personal profile and you're not set up as a business profile. When you get set up as a business profile, you can do things like include your website, include your address if you have a brick and mortar, if you have a restaurant or an establishment people can visit. When you have a business account, you also have access to your analytics and you can see how your social media is performing. I see we got some chats and some questions already. I'm going to go through this and then we'll get right to those questions. So as Helena was saying, when it comes to social media, it takes time, right? And as business owners, we don't have that kind of time to devote to social media management. So this is why I recommend you use content development and scheduling tools. So I have them listed in the order in which we proceed, right? We start with creating our content. I use Canva because I'm not a graphic designer by trade. That's not what I do. I'm a writer generally. So Canva works great for me. I have a whole different presentation on Canva, but Canva, you can go in, they have templates, you can redesign it, you can rebrand them, but you don't necessarily have to start from scratch. With Adobe, you're going to start from scratch. True graphic designers are using Adobe, and then you have some other tools. After you create your content, you want to use a scheduling platform to schedule it out, right? So we have a bunch listed here. Hello Woofy is a newcomer on the scene. I use Hootsuite currently. I've previously used Planoly and Buffer. What you want to do is weigh the pros and cons of the different scheduling programs, see what works best for you. All of these do not post or may not post to the same platforms. So check out which platforms you're on: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. See which platforms you're on and which ones accommodate that. Google My Business is another one that people are using these programs for, where you can have your social media content also sent to Google My Business, right? So you want to create it, you schedule it, and it goes out automatically, and it's on autopilot. You don't have to do anything after you schedule it. I love saying that. I put my client's social media on autopilot, because once it's scheduled, all we do then is go back and make sure things are working as we plan. And then you have integration tools. I use Zapier. The integration tools are really cool if you're using one of these scheduling platforms, but say they don't schedule to a particular platform. So if I post on Instagram, I can use Zapier to zap my post over to LinkedIn. So I can make sure my scheduling program will send it to Facebook and Instagram automatically. And then through Zapier, I can have it zapped over to LinkedIn. But there's a caveat, right? So I always include this in the presentation, because those platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, they prefer organic engagement. They want to focus on authenticity, and they want you to manually be the person liking, posting, sharing, right? So unless you're using Facebook Business Manager, they're not going to like you using the third-party apps. And also remember, Facebook Business Manager only schedules to Facebook and Instagram. If you're on other platforms, what are you going to do, right? So I include this in every presentation. And then I also include the organic reach rate. So if you are organically going in and you are manually scheduling your content to these different platforms, this is your organic reach rate. At most 5% on LinkedIn is your organic reach rate. That is not a lot. And I will tell you, all of these have decreased in 2021 compared to 2020 and even earlier 2021. And Facebook used to be 5.2% reach rate. It has now declined to 2.2%. Instagram had a 20% reach rate, organic, which was high. This is extremely high for organic reach rate. And it has dropped to almost 1%, 1.22%. LinkedIn is the only one that has increased. It was previously 3%, and now it's a 5% organic reach rate. So I put this in as a reminder of time is money, right? My time is valuable. I am a very, very busy person. So I don't have the time to post organically and manually to my platforms for at most a 5% reach rate. So this is why myself and millions of other people rely on those third-party apps to get your content out there, because 5% at most is just not getting it for me. So we talked about engagement. So when you're thinking about engaging with your audience, there's a few different things you can do. You can ask questions in your posts. You can ask, what are your followers interested in, right? If you own a bakery, right? Are you interested in pies, or are you interested in coming in, or do you want it shipped, right? You can just ask general questions. And then what you can do, now I'm getting into repurposing the content. You can take those answers and create new social media posts for when you're planning in advance next time, right? So again, if you're at the bakery, this or that. Do you like brownies or cakes, right? Do you like cupcakes or cookies? And that way you're generating engagement because people are going to reply. On one of my social media platforms that I own, this morning the question was iced coffee or hot coffee. And this was our first time starting the questions again in about 3 to 4 months. We used to ask a daily question and we stopped because we didn't have time to manage it. Now, one of the members of my organization has stepped up and she's managing the social media. We approved the questions to go out. We put the question out this morning. Within 5 minutes, somebody replied. Last time I checked, we had 6 comments on it, several likes on it, right? Because engagement is key. It gets people going. It gets conversations started. Okay, you can ask, which content do they love? I asked this on one of my social media platforms last week, I think. Which of our services do you love the most? Do you like blogs? Do you like websites? Do you like that we do marketing materials? Which ones do you love? What do you want to see us post about, right? That way they feel like, your viewers feel like they are helping to inform your content. So then later on, when they see a post about blogs, they'll say, that's because I told Sammy I like those blogs. That's why I have this here, right? So you want to ask the questions and get them engaged. You can ask them what they do. 3 years ago, I asked in my social media, what do you do and where are you from? And someone replied and she said, I'm a writer and I'm in Connecticut. And I said, what? Because I'm a writer and I'm in Connecticut. And guess what? 3 years later, I only know this because Facebook sent me a reminder last week of how long we've been friends. 3 years later, we're now connected in every way. We sit on different organizations together. She actually works for me in my companies, and we communicate, we collaborate, and we partner all the time. And that came from that one social media post that said, what do you do and where are you? So think of the different types of questions that you can ask to engage your viewers, your followers, and to generate those comments. So when you get the comments on your post, because that's what you're going to do, you're going to have engaging content that gets comments, right? So say someone comments and you don't really have anything to say, like, okay, that's great. You can just thank them. Thank you. I appreciate that. Put in some emojis, right? You want to continue the conversation. So you say something, you post, they comment, you reply. There's a great conversation going. You know what happens eventually? More people start to chime into that conversation and you start to build a sense of a community. Once you have regular posting and content on social media, they begin, your viewers, your followers, begin to expect to see your content, especially if you have themed content, right? So they're going to show up because Thursdays you talk about this. So I'm waiting for your post. But now they start to collaborate. They start to partner. They start to follow each other, right? But when you're replying, make sure you use the @ sign. Otherwise, no one's going to get that notification. And if they're commenting saying, I really want your service, and you're replying, but you don't include the @ sign, they're never going to get it. You don't get that lead. And sometimes you're going to get some negative reviews, but you want to make sure that you respond professionally, because if you don't, that can also impact you not getting those leads and converting your followers to leads and clients on social media. So to monetize social media, you want to make sure you are turning your lurkers into leads. Your lurkers are those people who watch, read, follow, they look at every video, but they don't comment, they don't like, they maybe they probably won't share it, they'll save it, but they're gonna be looking. So when they are looking, because they're always watching, make sure that you are positioning yourself as an industry expert. You have to share the knowledge of your industry, share your tips and provide advice. You want to use social media to add value. Once they see you as an industry leader, they're going to say, oh, you know what? I know Sammy is great when it comes to blog writing, so I'm going to contact her because she's always writing about it and she's always giving me good tips, and that's who I'm going to, right? So you want to provide your insight and inspiration. Let people know that when they get to your content, it's going to be something valuable, it's going to be something engaging, it's going to be something they want to read. So by then, you're building your followers' trust and respect. And guess what? Your lurkers turns to leads, and you'll see that in your bank account. And that's what we're here for, right? So then we get into hashtag marketing. And I'm going to go through this briefly, but it's important when it comes to monetizing social media, because you can generate sales directly through hashtag marketing. Hashtag marketing is a whole thing. I have a whole separate presentation on just hashtag marketing. But with hashtag marketing, you use a strategy to come up with specific and calculated hashtags. You don't just use hashtags. You're researching hashtags. You're finding the hashtags that work best for you. Why? Because it helps with your social media and performance. It can improve your analytics, increase your impressions, and boost engagement. It expands your reach because those people who are already following you, whether you have hashtags or not, they should be seeing your content based on the algorithm. But hashtags helps you expand your reach by targeting specific markets of people who are searching for specific hashtags. Okay, so I have another slide here when we talk about more about the hashtags. Your hashtags gets viewed by non-followers because hashtags are searchable and followable. So I have what you should also do is have 1 to 2 branded hashtags. So here are a couple of mine: 628 DD, 628 digital design. People can be following either of these hashtags, both of these hashtags, without following my page, my 628 digital design page, right? They can, when they're following it, they can then share that content with their community, right? So then that's how you're expanding your reach. One, you're getting in front of the first layer of people who didn't know you exist. And now they say, wow, this is really good. I'm going to share this content. Then the content starts to live on and on and on. Instagram allows you to have up to 30 hashtags. Recently in the industry, we're finding that 30 is a lot. And on average, you should have somewhere between 6 to 10 hashtags. And those hashtags should all be keywords, industry-specific keywords that are relevant to the content you're posting about. So if I'm posting about blog writing, my hashtags should not be about marketing materials or websites. Because when people are researching, they're searching for hashtag website development, and then they get my post about blog writing. That doesn't do anything for them or me. So you want to make sure your hashtags are, 1, branded, and then 2, relevant to the content that you're posting, and you're keeping it to about 6 to 10 hashtags. LinkedIn is usually on the lower end. You don't want a lot of hashtags on LinkedIn. And you can Google. So you can just Google and say, we did this with one of my clients. She owns a farm. So we Googled popular farming hashtags. And we both learned something new. One, the most popular hashtag is farming is sexy. I didn't know that, but apparently it is. It's one of the most popular farming hashtags. And then we also found out there's a whole movement around women farmers. So there's a bunch of hashtags related to women who farm, right? So just Google and you can put in whatever it is. I can put in content hashtags, writing hashtags, popular writing hashtags, and those will come up. There's also websites that have hashtag generators. So if you go to the website, first you Google hashtag generators, you get to that website, you put in the content, the topic that you are looking for, and then it will spit out those different hashtags for you. And just remember, it's the hashtags are the number sign and then words and numbers after. If you start using a character, like the @ sign or exclamation point, something that's not a letter or a number, your hashtag will stop at that last letter or number. So just like I have 628 digital design, no spaces altogether, that's going to be the hashtag. So where are you using your hashtags? Literally everywhere. All across social media, on all your social media posts. You should not post on social media without hashtags. That's like me turning and talking to the wall, because it's not going to get past those people who are already on my social media platform, right? The whole point of being on social media as a business is to expand your reach and to get clients, right? So if you're not using hashtags, how are those new clients going to find you? Those old clients, or we love our existing clientele, But we also need to get some new clientele. That means we need to use hashtags to get our message out there. I always say, take advantage of the real estate on social media, in your bios and in your profiles. I have clients who prefer hashtags in their bios and profiles and others who don't. I put them in my profile and in my bios because it's just one additional touch point for viewers, for followers to see my content. So I have keywords, keyword heavy bios and profiles, especially when we get into Clubhouse, with hashtags. And then blogs and articles, because one, it can help with your SEO, and two, it can help direct people from your blog or article to your social media. All right, so now we're going to get into collecting a Clubhouse check. Love Clubhouse. Chamber is huge on Clubhouse also. So if you're not familiar with Clubhouse, just a slide to level set. So it is a transformative digital networking tool. It is new. And when it came out, it was new, it was exclusive, it was invite only. That has now changed. Everyone can get in. But what it is audio only conversations. The only way to communicate on Clubhouse is, well, now they also added DMs. There's Clubhouse DMs now. But primarily, it's audio only. And you only have one profile picture. So it's not like you have a gallery of photos and tips and strategies. You have one profile picture. You have your voice that you're able to use. And then you have your profile. And we're going to talk about building your profile. On Clubhouse, I've seen people participate in pitch sessions in front of venture capitalists and get their business funded. It's really insane, the types of opportunities that you have on Clubhouse. When you go on stage in some of these rooms, you have the opportunity to sit and share the stage with celebrities and influencers and billionaires. It's insane what can happen in these Clubhouse streets. But you can also use it to schedule and host audio events. And now you can share those calendar links out and people can add it to the calendar, click on the link and go straight to your event when it happens. But you use Clubhouse again to position yourself as an industry expert where you share your knowledge and your wisdom. So some of the newest Clubhouse features, boom, bang, collecting payments straight from the app. That's new. Before, I'll show you in my pictures, you could just put your Venmo, your Cash App, and people will tip you because you go on Clubhouse and you share value. We always say you drop in gems, right? You drop your gems, people pick them up and they thank you. And they can thank you via Cash App, Venmo, and now straight through Clubhouse. It is available on Android. It is no longer invite only. You can just download the app and you're in. You can now share URLs to your profiles in your clubs. So in my beginning slide, I have my Clubhouse URL there. For my profile and my club. My club is the collaboration of minority women professionals, and we have over 15,000 people. So I can share that link out, and then that helps generate more followers to that club. And now you can also RSVP for events. There's an event coming up, you can RSVP, you can put it on your calendar. So keep that in mind if you want to host a session. Say I want to take this and then host this on Clubhouse. I can schedule it. People can RSVP, it goes on their calendar, and when the time comes, they just click the link and go right into it. So as with all other social media platforms, you need to come up with a Clubhouse strategy. And it starts with your profile, because that's the main place that you are going to go to advertise and market your services and your products. But your profile has to be keyword heavy, and we'll look at that. But you want to make sure you're being strategic about what you're doing, your activity on Clubhouse, which clubs, rooms, and people you're following and engaging with. One main reason is your activity is viewable to other people. So if you are in questionable rooms, especially if you're using Clubhouse for business and to market your business, if you're in questionable rooms, people can see who's in a room. So you can see the host, you see the title of the room. You can see if it's hosted by a club, and then you can see like the first few people. If you're following someone, it will show their names at the top of the list. So if you're in questionable rooms, just remember, they can see you. So you want to create your clubs and businesses for businesses and organizations. So think about the topics that you want to talk about. Think about the industry that you want to promote. And then you create clubs and businesses named after that. So on Wednesdays, you may want to talk about social media management. On Fridays, you may want to do just general networking. On Saturdays, you may want to talk with accountants and bookkeepers only, right? So you want to make sure it's specified so that people know what to expect in those rooms. And I always say, I love partnering and collaborating when two different people's networks come together. So go co-host those rooms with other thought leaders. Advertise them, but you got to go on stage. The two main things is build your profile and go on stage. If you stay in the audience, usually no one's going to hear you position yourself as a brand industry expert. So go on stage, share your knowledge, talk about your frequently asked questions, right? What are people asking you about what you do? What gems can you share that other people may not know that could be informative to them, can help someone else? You go on stage, people's going to say, who's that? They're going to click on your profile and they're going to read it and see what exactly you have to offer, what it is you do. So when you go on stage, feel free. People deliver full keynote addresses and like mini TED Talks because that's your time to start out. And a lot of people, if you're not comfortable, they start off in smaller rooms. Not all rooms are huge. So you can start off in a room of 2, 3, 5 people and then build up your confidence to get on stage in larger rooms. And those larger rooms is where the money resides. So you're building your Clubhouse bio. I have an iPhone, so I use the Notes app. But you can use a similar app. I use the Notes app because I also have emojis, and so it helps with formatting. And then all I do is copy and paste that into my Clubhouse profile. And then if I need to make any changes, I just go back to the Notes app, modify whichever changes I want to make, and then copy and paste that back into the Clubhouse profile. Again, we talked about developing a strategy. You need to connect your other social media platforms. So before the DM feature, direct messaging feature on Clubhouse, the only other way for people to follow up with you is if you have your email address in your profile, and there's no prompt for that. So you have to proactively type in your email address. And then you have the option to connect Instagram or Twitter or both. So what usually happens is I go in a room and I start talking, I start doing what I do, and I can talk for 5 to 10 minutes. I go and check Instagram and I get anywhere from 20 to 40, 50 new followers. And those are organic followers. Those are people who intentionally follow me based on what I had to say on Clubhouse. So if you're looking to increase your social media following, Clubhouse is a magnet for it. Go in Clubhouse, host rooms, get on stage, start talking, and then watch your followers increase. And these are people who want to do business with you. They're interested in exactly what you were talking about on Clubhouse. So we talked about payment. Now on Clubhouse, I have another slide. You can accept payment directly through Clubhouse. So like the other social media platforms, include your email, include your contact information. Make sure your profile is very keyword heavy because you can search on Clubhouse. And if people are searching for a particular thing, you need to make sure that they can come across your profile. And make sure you include your professional experience because this shows your credibility. This shows that you have scholarship to talk about certain things. So this is an example of these are screenshots I took a few months ago. So you see, it's all keyword heavy, right? Very much on the keywords. This was before you could do payment directly through Clubhouse, but I still have it there anyway. Cash App takes a fee. Otherwise, I would list that too. But Venmo, people can shoot me some coins. I'll gladly take them. And then I add some scholarship. Right? Here's some of my credentials. Here's some more of my credentials, my experience. What gives me the ability to talk about certain topics and position myself as a thought leader. Down here, it lists the different clubs you're in. So when I talk about your activity on Clubhouse and being careful about where you're spending your time, when you become a member of a club, is listed at the bottom of your profile. So everyone can see it. If you're in a room that's questionable, everyone can see it. And then it also shows you who brought you in. So you're tied to the person. And you want to be careful because before we would say be careful who you're bringing in, because now what they were doing was if someone was acting up on Clubhouse, they would kick them off the platform and they would kick off the person that brought them in. So you want to be really careful about your behavior on Clubhouse. And so this is how you get paid through Clubhouse. This is the new payments feature. It's payments accepted through Stripe. So all you do is set up your Stripe account or add it here if you already have a Stripe account. And then you can see your payment history. You get notified of your payments. You can view your payments. So there are ways to actually get paid, get a check, not actually a check, but it's still coins. Get your coins through Clubhouse. All right, and then we're going to end with Linktree before we get to the questions. So Linktree is a service that helps you eliminate multiple links. And there are other platforms you can use similar to Linktree. You can also build it a hidden web page on your website, which I do for some of my companies. So instead of using Linktree for some, I build a separate page. That's because it's just fully branded. It's on the website. With Linktree and other platforms, you can also pay. Linktree is free. I've been using Linktree for years and I've never paid anything for Linktree. And if you do the paid version of Linktree, then you can brand it. You can add different elements. They have different features. I think they have analytics and stats you can look at also. But the whole purpose of Linktree is because sites like Instagram only allow one URL. So when you are saying, okay, I want to put in a link, but I also have an event coming out. And what about my blogs? And I want to send people directly to my store. Instagram was only allowing one place for that, one link. So using a service like Linktree, you can have that one link. And when they click the one link, they see multiple links, multiple places they can go to. And then you can prioritize what is the first link, what is the second link, right? So here's examples of some of the things you can have in your link tree. And then what you can do when you put link in bio, I do it all the time, link in bio, everything, link in the bio, click the link in bio. In the Instagram stories, they have the GIFs that say link in bio, right? Link in bio, and then we're done. Link in bio is because you're directing people. Remember your call to actions? Your call to actions say, click the second link in my bio to do this, especially if you have a lot of links, right? Third link down, this is what you'll find. That way you're telling people exactly what to do. You're telling them the behavior you want them to take, and then you're keeping them engaged and continuing going to your different platforms, right? They can go from your social media to your website, from social media directly to your store, directly to a downloadable you may have, right? You may say, in mine, I also have my mailing list, right? Now you're on my social media, but go join my mailing list. Click the link in my bio, join my mailing list. All right, and Helena, we are up, now went the wrong way. There we go. We're at the questions portion.
Oh my God, amazing. I don't know about everyone else, but I was taking notes and I had no idea about Clubhouse taking money. That was number one. I have a couple of questions here. So the main question is, will you share your PowerPoint presentation? I've told them that we're recording this. It will be on Chamber TV. You'll let me know. And if it will, that's up to Samantha. Number two is someone wanted to know what is the, where do they find the hashtag generator website? Were you just saying, just Google it?
Google, there's plenty of them. So if you just Google hashtag generator, you're going to see a whole slew of websites. And then, you can just go and see which ones you like best. You may find one doesn't, maybe you don't like the way that its functionality. You have some where you can do the, you do the hashtag generator and it gives you a bunch of hashtags, and you can just hold it on your phone and copy it and then paste it into your scheduling app or into social media, either way.
Thank you for that. Ralph Rodriguez, City National Bank, community partner. Thank you, Ralph, for being here. Thank you for your support. He asks, how do you frame a call to action when you are a service provider, example, a bank, and you work for a large organization that has a social media strategy?
So for a bank, stop in and visit us today. Have you opened a business account? You know, questions like that. One, do you have a business savings account? Do you have a business line of credit? Contact one of our representatives to get started today. Contact us for lending. So those are some call to actions for larger banks.
That's a good one. Someone asked, can you create a private community in Clubhouse and deliver presentations only for those who have joined?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can create a club on Clubhouse, and then you can limit your members. So what you do is you first create the club, and then you invite certain people, and only those certain people. And then it has to be, well, even if they invite others, you will have to approve who's going to join as a member.
Got it. Are there other platforms besides Hootsuite that you can manage all your social media at one time? I could have sworn that I saw something that Hootsuite is no longer going to be. Is that true or no?
No, that's not true. I used.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through. Can you see my slide deck again?
Yep.
Okay, so.
Oh, you had the whole thing. Someone take a screen. You guys can take a screenshot of that.
Yes. So there are tons of scheduling programs. Now I know people who have created their own scheduling programs and they have their own platforms, but there are tons. I use Hootsuite. I've used Buffer. Buffer had a lot of issues with actually scheduling the post. Like you schedule it, but it doesn't go to the platform. So then you would have manual issues that you would have to do it. Planoly, I really like Planoly. I had a whole thing on Planoly at one time because you can save hashtags, you can schedule your stories. They have templates in Planoly, but Planoly doesn't share to a lot of different platforms. They're like Facebook, they don't do LinkedIn. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, I believe, is Planoly. Hello Woofy is really new, is brand new. The owner of Hello Woofy is Arjan, and he has a Facebook page where he is very responsive. And because I use Hello Woofy, I got in at the grandfathered price, and they're going to build it up and offer it for a higher price. But I've been waiting for functionality. Like for right now, I think you still can't automatically post to Instagram through Hello Woofy. With Hello Woofy, when it's time to post to Instagram, you get a notification. You have to download their app also. And then you get a push notification reminding you to go into the app and push it to Instagram. So I would say, hey, Arjan, when are we gonna be able to automatically share? And then he does a video. He'll reply via video on Facebook and say, hey, Sammy, we're still working on it. It'll be done in 2 weeks or whatever. So there are a bunch of scheduling programs you can use.
Okay. Someone asked about finding social media interns. I'm just telling them, the local schools and the CUNY and SUNY system has a lot of people that are that have the internships. So definitely reach out to the guidance counselors and the employment areas in the educational institutions. You mentioned on Clubhouse being pulled up on stage. Don't you, when you say pull up on stage, don't you have to be asked to be pulled up on stage?
So you can raise your hand. What happens sometimes is as soon as I get into a room, somebody invites me on stage and I'm like, hold on. Can I just see what y'all doing in here? I don't even know what you're talking about. So when you get into a room, you can raise your hand and ask to go on stage, and they can turn off that feature. They can say, we're not allowing anybody on stage. Me and this person is going to be the only one talking, like a panel, right? Or I'm going to be the only one talking. I'm not interested in having anybody else join me on stage. Otherwise, the people who are on stage already can invite anyone in the audience to join them. And then once you're in the room, you can also invite others who are currently on Clubhouse, and then others who may not be on the Clubhouse app at the time, and say, hey, come join me in this room. So you can invite others into the room you're in.
Another question is, when you post questions on a Facebook or in general, and you're looking for that feedback, how do you prevent something like, okay, for example, I post on Facebook, you know, how did you like this presentation? And someone sat there and said, well, you know what, I didn't get anything out of it, or not this presentation, you know what I'm saying? I went to your networking event and I didn't meet anyone. So is it a catch-22 when you're asking for feedback, because you might get that negative, and then how do you circumvent it? Because people have asked me that, and it's out there, you know, they're like, it's out there. So how do I,
there is a level of vulnerability with it, right? Because you don't know what people are going to say, and not all people are good people, right? So you know how some people, even if they have something positive, they're going to lead with the negative, right? And the only thing you can do is be professional in your response. I'm so sorry you had that experience. We do have another networking event coming up. I hope you will join us. Here's my email address, or give me your phone number and I'll call you directly so we can talk about your experience. And then you're starting to do some of that customer service recovery also. So you're not just saying like, so what? I don't care if you didn't like it. Don't come back, right? You don't want to do that because you want to be inviting, right? So I want you to come back, and I want you to bring your friends, and this is why you should come back. And I appreciate you supporting us.
Yeah, a lot of people have, you know, when I've had these, they always ask, they didn't want to ask publicly, but they always wanted to sit there and say, Helena, you know what, if I ever open it up, I'm so afraid for that negative review or that negative thing. I'm just trying to go through questions in the past that people have asked. Pull up on stage, we did the hashtag generators, the engagements and negative post, and Facebook Business Manager. Do you recommend that?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Facebook Business Manager is not fun to deal with. It's not easy to deal with. I was talking to another social media manager yesterday about Facebook, just Facebook in itself. They keep changing their process. They keep changing how you authenticate. They change everything all the time. It's impossible to connect accounts. We both know individuals, large organizations, who cannot post on Instagram because they need to validate through Facebook, but Facebook is not accepting that they're an owner of the page, the admin of the page. So then these large organizations are creating brand new Facebook pages because they're unable to connect Instagram, and they have to start from scratch, and there's no workaround for that. And then also when it comes to using Facebook Business Manager to schedule your posts, you're limited to Facebook and Instagram because Facebook now owns Instagram. So you can only post on Facebook and Instagram. And I don't believe you can schedule stories either, or build stories in Facebook Business Manager. So I don't recommend it. That's why it wasn't even listed on my slide.
I remember you saying that, and I was like, oh, I'm looking through my notes on, you know, and over the course of, you know, when I put this out and people emailed me back, oh, great, I want to attend this webinar and I have a question on this. So I always look at my emails.
Oh.
So when I you know, said, oh, we're going to have this great presentation. Does anyone have any other questions? You have, you know, you have Samantha here, expertise right here, answering your question. Everyone is sitting there saying, great presentation. This was a fabulous presentation.
I'm seeing the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll put up my my contact slide again.
Yeah, put that up.
In case you guys, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, in case you guys didn't grab it.
Yeah, everyone take a screenshot of that if you need to reach out to Samantha.
Yes, and I would say the best way to reach me is email. So info@628 Digital Design. I get asked all the time, why 628 Digital Design? 628 is June 28th, which is that guy's birthday. So 628 Digital Design is named after my son. It grew out of Sam's Word. So you'll see like my Clubhouse is Sam's Word. My LinkedIn is Business Writers. So Sam's Word is my first company I started. December is our 6th year in business, and that is a writing and content development company. And all of the services we provide through 628 started with Sam's Word, and then I made it its own company. So there you have 628 Digital Design. Are there any other questions, Helena?
Yeah, one other question now, Clubhouse, you said anyone can get on Clubhouse. It doesn't have to be an invite from someone else anymore?
It's no longer invite only. They opened it up to everyone. It's available on Android and iPhone, and it's no longer invite only.
So for the audience here, so if they wanted to go, they download the Clubhouse app and it automatically brings them in once they download the Clubhouse app?
I want to say yes, but the one thing I don't know about is before they had a wait list. So before you could invite people and then they would go on a wait list, or there was a way to get them in through the back door also. So I just don't know if the wait list still exists.
Got it. But for those who want to get on Clubhouse, we do Clubhouse Mondays at 2:00. If you need an invitation, I have plenty of invitations. I will send you an invitation. Keep in mind that you need a cell phone. A lot of people email me their business phone, and it doesn't work that way. It's by cell phone. And those who are Clubhouse shy and not familiar with it, you know what? Mondays at 2:00, join us. Not this Monday because it's a holiday. The following Monday, because we'll walk you through it. We have a lot of chamber leaders on there, and it's great networking. And we'll guide you through on how to work Clubhouse and other avenues, like what Samantha is talking about. We talk about promoting and growing your business. This is an example of how to grow your business. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your expertise. This was a phenomenal presentation. So thank you so much. Everyone is sitting there, it's blowing up.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. I love dropping these gems and going back and looking at those stats. Every time I do this presentation, I see what's new, what's happening, what's trending. So I appreciate the opportunity.
And we love it. And whoever knew that Clubhouse was, you can get it. So can I ask you a question if you don't want to answer? So you get money on Clubhouse? People will give you.
And they started that feature because people was getting paid through Clubhouse before that feature. People were like, that's why I have my Venmo listed in my profile, because you go on stage, you talk. One, people automatically follow me on Instagram after I go on stage and talk. But then people say, wow, that was really good. Like, she just gave me all that information for free. No. Here's her Venmo. Let me go drop her some coins. And it, anything from $5 and up, right? Like, whatever people think is valuable enough, that's what happens.
Someone just Jeff Bolding. I don't know, Jeff, what company you're with. He hashtag gem drop queen. Keep shining. That is really nice, Jeff. Thank you for that. And he seems like he's on social media because he's doing the hashtag.
Hashtags. I have to say, Jeff, those hashtags they're not going to work for you here on Zoom. But if you go and put them on social media or another platform, you'll get it right.
Wonderful. Well, you know what? Let me just double check. Hold on the last. So someone wants to know any books to recommend. Any books? Is there any social media books?
So here's a secret. Well, those in my collaboration of minority women professionals know this already, but I'm addicted to ordering books. I can order a mean book, but I don't read them all. So I just order them and I collect them. I'm a book collector, so I don't know what's in them. I don't know. But I don't have any books on social media. I would say I would not honestly buy a book on social media because it changes so frequently. Facebook changes, Instagram algorithm change, all kinds of things change on social media almost daily. So I would never buy a book. I would read blogs. I would Google. I would check out some journal articles on social media.
Join Samantha's, but Samantha, you have a blog. So
I have blogs on all of my business.
Right. If you guys, instead of getting the book, just connect with Sam.
Read my blog. Go to
exactly.
My website is brand spanking new, 628digitaldesign.co. It is brand new, and we do have blogs starting in September. I'm in the process of editing and proofreading those blogs, and then we're going to have them going out to you. Go to my social media. I have all kinds of information, tips, value on 628 Digital Design. That's on Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you again, Samantha. I know that, you know, we don't want to take up too much time. It's almost 11 o'clock. If you guys.
I see a question from Natalia. She's getting into social media management. Yes, I do recommend you taking courses on social media management. I want to say it's eCornell, or I'll put my email here so you can follow up with me, because there are courses that you can take. 628 Digital Design.
And we're going to probably be following up and having Samantha give courses to our members. So, you know, Natalia, keeping in contact with us, become a member of the Greater New York Chamber, and definitely,
absolutely
definitely reach out to Sam. She just put her information in the chat. Samantha, Sam, I always say Sam. I love that name. Thank you so much. We so appreciate it, and valuable information. Everyone have a great day. Don't forget next week, you know, everyone have a safe, you know, good holiday. And then I'm looking at the calendar for everyone who celebrates Rosh Hashanah. Happy New Year. Join us on September 9th. We have at 4 o'clock our networking online. It's a cocktail reception, whether you have alcohol, non-alcohol, join us 4 o'clock. It's a lot of fun. And then September 10th, we are actually hosting with the SBA a webinar on how to get government contracts. So take a look at I'll be blasting it out and notifying you, and take a look at our website. Again, Samantha, thank you so much.
Thank you, Helena. I appreciate it.
Love it. Bye, you guys. Have a great day.
See you guys next time.